This song may be uplifting and rousing, but as a philosophical treatise it is distinctly wanting. It's a tautology, a mere affirmation that what is what is. No value judgment comes into play with the statement that life is life. It is therefore an uncontroversial premise that cannot be seriously debated with a straight face. A similarly simple and what should be self-evident and uncontroversial fact is that life is that which creates the values of deprivation and suffering in the universe, and that these values only emerge when there are sentient agents to experience these states of mind. However, as this line of reasoning is generally abhorrent to organisms who have been programmed by evolution by natural selection to survive and reproduce at any cost, it is resisted via simple and crude psychological defense mechanisms such as denial, repression, projection, and displacement, in order that the intelligent and self-aware organism can nonchalantly go about its business, persisting for a time, spawning new organisms from its genetic material, before finally succumbing to an often painful and highly distressing death. This state of affairs is deeply unsatisfactory to those whose psychological defense mechanisms are not so adept at warding away distressing and upsetting conclusions that can be drawn about the human condition through the exercise and application of an intellectually inquisitive and ruthlessly analytical mind. Then we open a window to the horror inherent in life by one such mind, my own. Life serves no function in the universe. The universe doesn't need it, and none of us needed it prior to our conception. Prior to our conception, we were all as ephemeral as the characters in a novel, mere fictions and possibilities swirling in the mind of the author who conjured its characters forth into a universe generated by his or her creative mind. There is no deprivation or suffering involved in being a figment of imagination in someone's mind. It is only when new physical life is created that the twin mechanisms of deprivation and suffering are manifested and made concrete by a screaming baby screaming for milk and warmth. The parents provide milk and warmth, and the baby's needs are temporarily met. However, notice that in order for the comfort to be obtained, there needed to be a need generated by the organism prior to the satisfaction of said need. Such need machine mechanics is how life has persisted for so long. This is how life has persisted and perpetuated itself for hundreds of billions of years, and life is truly a horrid phenomenon that could only be initiated on an untainted and unsullied planet by a malevolent, depraved, sick and demented intelligence. For who could truthfully, in good conscience, willfully initiate a process that would create a mind-bending amount of suffering to trillions of organisms over a course of billions of years, merely for their own edification and amusement? If we are to personify Mother Nature, as is people's wont to do, we should strip her of her seductive clothes and her superficial and illusory charms, and dare to stare into the depths of her being, and then, and only then, can we begin to cultivate an appreciation for the vile and unspeakable waste of suffering, agony, and horror her initial act of abiogenesis set in motion on this little green and blue orb all those billions of years ago, and that currently shows no signs of relenting. Life is an abomination. Life is absurd. Life is futile. Life terminates in death and eventual and inevitable extinction for all species. Life has no purpose. Life is rudderless, with complacent and clueless primates at the top of the food chain and in positions where they can exert the most influence on the docile and obedient adherents to the DNA worshipping cult that is the human race. Life is unfair. Life is unjust. Life is inherently flawed. Life is nature's biggest and only mistake. Life is a breach in the blessed calm of nothingness. Nothingness, or rather an absence of sentience in the space-time continuum in which we are embedded. No needs, no wants, no desires, no pain, no suffering, no absurdity, no insanity, no death, nothing. A negation of sentience and of being. Life is a bitch and then you die, and the logical arguments have been made that confirm this beyond all reasonable doubt. Please don't contribute to the propagation of this redundant and pernicious DNA game, and keep your fictitious potential children safely encased within the confines of your imagination, the only place they are truly safe from harm.